Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Igor, and today we're going to be doing tire changes, specifically taking off all season tires to put on our winters. Reason I'm doing that is we do live in Canada here, and we do get quite a bit of snow, and no matter how good that all season tire is, a winter tire is still the best thing for snow and ice. So one of the biggest differences you'll see between all season tires such as this one is it's got a lot of fine little grooves, and it's got a few deeper channels to get the water out, and this works really great on dry weather, in rain. However, come snow and ice, it's not the ideal thing. Reason one is the grooves, they're not big enough to grip through the snow, as well as the composition of the tire itself is stiffer and harder than a winter tire would be, so therefore when it gets cold the tire tends to freeze rather than still stay soft to be able to grip on the ice. If we look at the winter tire here, you'll see that it's got less of the deep grooves, so it's got the two big ones for water to get the water out. However, all these other bigger grooves here do a really good job gripping the ice and the snow, and especially these little fine tiny grooves, they're really great when it comes to making contact on ice, either when you're taking off or slowing down. Now you might be asking yourself, why am I putting winter tires on an Audi that's got all-wheel drive, or even on my other car, the Touareg, which is also an all-wheel drive car? Well, the reason is, although all-wheel drive cars are great to get you going, and they might help you go through a corner better than a front-wheel drive or a rear-wheel drive car, when it comes to stopping, all-wheel drive, two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, whatever you want to call it, does not make a difference. What makes a difference when it comes to stopping are, well, your brakes and your tires. The only contact between your car and the road are your tires. So ideally, the better that contact, the better chances are you have of stopping. So the first thing is, in my opinion, the easiest thing before you start doing anything is park your car in such a way that you can get around all four sides of the car easily without having to squeeze, because you might have to get your jack and your tools in there as well. So in this case, my car is really close to this wall, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and flip it around. And just like that, I've moved the car so that we can get to all four wheels easily with lots of access. That'll make the job a whole lot easier without having to move your car after doing one side or the other. Next step is to make sure that your vehicle is in park or in gear if it's a standard, and pull up your handbrake. This will make sure that your car does not roll back. In addition to having your handbrake pulled, I also like using the wheel chocks to make sure that the car does not roll back or forward. So typically what I do is I'll put one in the back of the wheel, in behind, and one in the front of the front wheel while I'm working on one side of the car, and then I'll flip it over to the other side. So right now I don't have any on here, but the other two wheels are held in place safely. Now some wheels do come with these protective covers over your lug nuts, and in most cases it's simply just with the flathead screwdriver they will pop right off. So once your cover is popped off, if you don't have power tools, as I do in this case, I'll be using an impact to take the nuts off. I recommend using your tools to break each of the bolts loose before you jack your car up. That way, if the car is sitting on the ground, there's less likely chance that you'll actually get it to fall off a jack stand or your jack. So in my case, I'm using a power tool, so that's not necessary in this case. To jack your car up, it's a straightforward process. Grab your jack, slide it underneath, position it with the factory jack points. Most cars have it marked. Once it's in place, slowly jack up and make sure it's in the middle of your jack. And at this point, you're ready to go ahead and raise your vehicle. So simply raise it up. It's not necessary to raise your vehicle up to sky high, simply enough that your tire is off, usually about 2 inches. And for safety purposes, before starting any work, I recommend using jack stands. So with the jack stand in place, we're ready now to start taking the lug nuts off the vehicle. So what I recommend for taking your lug nuts off is make sure you have an impact socket. They're usually black, that they fit snug over your lug nuts, mounted on your impact gun in this case. and go ahead and loosen those. So just like that, your first tire is off. Pick it up, move your tire aside. And at this point, what I'd like to do is take this opportunity to inspect my brakes to make sure they're fine and any suspension components. Now, if you don't know what you're doing, I recommend don't touch it, don't play with it, assume it's fine until you bring it into your service shop next time. The next step is to grab your winter tire and mount it, so it'll be the opposite of the removal. However, a lot of winter tires tend to be directional, so if you search along the sidewall, it'll actually say rotation. So you want to make sure that when you put your tire up, that your vehicle rotates in that direction. So just like that, I'm going to mount the tire, put it up against the hub, align your lug nuts, and one by one screw them in by hand. Do not screw your lug nuts in with an impact gun. So what I do is I start them all off by hand. I do go with an impact, I know I'm going to get some backlash. However, I don't tighten them firmly. I just get it so I don't have to screw it in by hand. And at this point, I'm going to get my torque wrench and torque them down to proper specification before lowering my vehicle onto the ground. So once you've done one side, you can move to the other side of the car. Just make sure you torque down your nuts properly before moving to the other side of the vehicle. Finally, what you want to do is check your tire pressure with an inflator gun or a tire gauge. And in my case, all tires should be at around 32 psi, which is what I'm getting here. And for the winter, it's not a bad idea to run 1 or 2 psi less than recommended. Finally, if you have hubcaps, it's a good idea to put them on. That way you protect your wheel, as well as by having the centerpiece of the hubcap. It covers your wheel hub itself, preventing any rust from forming up, snow buildup, or dirt getting in. As you guys can see, changing tires is really not that hard. It takes, I would say, an hour at the most, and that's probably equivalent to the time it would take you to get your tires, put them in your car, book an appointment, bring it to your garage, drop your car off, go home or wait there, come back, pick it up, and this way you save yourself $50, $60, $70 for something you can do at home. And all cars come with the tools to do it. So in your trunk you do have your spare tire, it does come with the jack. You can do everything with the parts that are and the tools that are in your car from factory. Some exceptions do apply. And also, after you're done with your tires, it's a good time to check to make sure all your lights are working, top off your washer fluid, put an extra thing of washer fluid in your trunk, as well as make sure that your spare tire is inflated. You would not believe how many people never check their spare tire. When they do need it, they'll pull it out to find out that it's flat, just like the one that they have on the car at the moment. Anyhow, thank you for watching. Feel free to subscribe, like the video if you enjoyed it, and there's more to come. Thank you.